Oh, God.
On this episode of Motorhead Garage, there are no holes in this plan, as Sam and Dave show you how to protect your tires against flats. Then we'll explore the gray area in this brake job, and we stay ahead of the curve with these products from Powercurve.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Motorhead Garage. You know, folks, what's one of the worst things that happen to you when you're on the road? Well, getting a flat tire. And guess what happens? It's never going to happen in your driveway. It's always going to be out somewhere where it's inconvenient. Of course, if you go and change your tire and you put on the spare, a lot of times that doesn't have any air in it either, so now you're really stuck. Well, we've run across something here that you guys ought to know about. This is a tire sealant. It's called Amber Seal from American Sealants Company, and we got John Warnett here who's got some with him. John, welcome to the show. Tell me about this. How does this work?
This is a product we've been manufacturing for over 38 years. This tire sealant is a product you put in your tire and you don't have to worry about getting a flat. If you run over a nail, a thorn, whatever it is, that you pull it out, the sealant will seal the hole and you keep on going. There's no downtime of having to deal with fixing a flat tire.
That sounds pretty incredible to me. Now, we're going to try this thing out. Now, Sam over here is installing some of it right now into this truck.
All right, now, in order to put the Amber Seal in the tire, you got to deflate it a little bit. This tire holds about 60 PSI. Now, we have a 5-gallon pail here, and it's got a pump on it, and this pump, every stroke is going to give us 10 ounces. They have a nice chart. You look at the chart. This is a 265/70 with 17-inch wheels. So it's 35 ounces, 3.5 pumps. So I've deflated it down to 35 pounds. That way I can overcome the pressure in the tire. I'm going to take the tool that comes with it, remove the valve stem core. When I do that, I'm going to save the valve stem core. Hopefully it doesn't blow away on me. Put my finger over this, lock this on, and there I am. Now I'll go ahead and I'll do 3.5 strokes. Again, this machine, or this little pump, develops about 45 PSI. We'll put the product in, and it's white, and it stays liquid the whole time. It doesn't harden, doesn't affect the balance. That's the second one. Here's our third one. This stuff is pretty viscous, and then about 1/2 stroke. Okay, now the trick is take this off, get our valve stem in there. Then what I'll do is I'll inflate the tire to the pressure is required, which is 60 PSI, and then I'll go ahead and drive it. I'm going to drive this for about a mile, mile and a half, at 35, 40 miles an hour, get a nice even coat inside the tire, then it'll be ready to test.
Okay, John, I guess we got it spun enough, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, folks, here's what we're going to do. John's going to show us a little demonstration here. You got a, looks like a little wheelbarrow tire here.
It's essentially a wheelbarrow tire like the normal homeowner to have at home. And we've got a spike on here, about a 1/4 inch diameter.
Okay.
And we're just going to punch a hole in the tire. And we're going to show that it seals the tire up. And you can see here where it's already sealed the tire. Normally on a larger size puncture, as the tire rotates around, it flexes and helps the sealant to get into that position to help seal it.
All right, first of all, I can't even see where you did that, but normally if you do that, you'd have air just blowing out of the thing.
That's right.
I didn't feel any air, see any or nothing on this thing. That's amazing. Now, a question I have for you, I mean, this can put in about any tire, right?
That's correct. You can't use it in like an agricultural tire that has calcium in it.
Okay.
But any normal air-filled tire, whether it's a tube or tubeless, the sealant will work in.
Now, I know one question people have out there, well, I got a TPS sensor on my tire. What's that going to do to it?
It won't affect the sensor on the tire. It depends on the manufacturer as to where that sensor is mounted at. If it's mounted on the end of the valve core down here, the hole that the air goes through is so small, the sealant is designed to plug a hole larger than that so you won't get the sealant through it.
Okay, good. That's good. Now, something else you say is that it'll help reduce temperature in a tire.
That's correct. The sealant in the tire, as the tires go down the highway, the tread area heats up. And the sealant in there is going to help disperse that heat, take it away from the tread area, bring it around to the sidewalls of the tire, where the tires normally run cooler, and that'll disperse the heat, and your overall tire temperature will be lower.
Oh, there you go. Well, you can use this, especially like in off-road applications, motorcycles, whatever. All right, John, I'm going to check this out. Folks, you can see what we have is a board with a couple of spikes in it. All right, Sammy, bring her over. Oh, God.
Am I on it?
Yeah, you're on it. Go ahead, back it up. Shut it off. I want to hear the air. I'll be darned. There you go. That works pretty darn good.
It does. Works
John,
excellent.
that's amazing. I want to thank you for stopping by. Folks, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a lot more coming, so stay with us.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. Colt Cams, custom camshaft grinding using the latest technology for the next level of performance. And by B&M Performance, quality performance products that work.
All right, I'll tell you what, Chad, these sand rails are something else, aren't they?
They are. They are.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, what we have right here now is a sand rail. Now, I got Chad Coker here from Apple Tree Automotive, and he's brought a whole bunch of brake parts here from GryArea Technologies. But first thing on these sand rails, I don't know if you've seen many of them or not, but once they're out there in that sand, they do take a beating, don't they?
Oh, they do. They do.
So it's important to bring them in every so often, which is what we've done here, and go through it, maintain it, check it, take everything off, you know, all the brakes and all that.
Exactly.
Check it, make sure that they're all working well. It's good to maintain these things because they do take a heck of a beating. But what we have on this, though, what we're taking off here are the GryArea Technologies mid-hub brake calipers and kits. And this is their CV kit, rather. And then we have the 930 style on this one.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about that.
This particular car is a Honda V6, so it's on the lighter weight side of our cars that we do. This is a twisted alloy chassis from Arizona, and they're about 2,000 pounds. So with that, we can get by with the 930s. They get 18 to 22 inches of up and down wheel movement. And the point of what we're doing is to keeping the wheels straight up and down, and it really puts all the angle into the CV. So the bigger the CV joint, the more angle we can put on it. These particular ones are a centerboard hub, meaning the CV is in the center of the whole assembly here, which puts it as far outboard as you physically can get this on the car.
Yeah, and you can see this now. What we have here, this is an upgrade unit. This is called a 934 mid-hub CV brake kit. And you can see where the CV balls and everything is mounted right here in the middle of the hub. Now, this is much larger. This is for a bigger unit, though.
It would be. If you were going to have a V8 or something with a lot of horsepower, you're going to want something heavier like this, because when we do a bigger brake, now you get into bigger calipers. And this car has got a 4-piston rear caliper, but once we go to the bigger V8s, they get into the 6-piston calipers.
Okay, now here you can see an example what Sam has brought in.
Okay, now, this is what was on the front of this car. Now, what is this called?
That is a combo spindle.
Combo spindle, but it's all high quality, billet aluminum. And of course, this car only weighs probably, what, 1,600, 1,700 pounds?
Correct.
So it's got adequate brakes, got nice little aluminum calipers, and they're billet, and they're 2 pads. And I'm just giving it, packing the wheel bearings, cleaning up everything and checking it. But you can see, this car doesn't need a lot of brakes. When you put more horsepower in a heavier car, you got to step up to bigger and better brakes.
I want to show the difference here, Sam. You can see now this is if you step up through the bigger brakes, this is for the front, you can see much bigger spindle on here.
Yep.
And you can see what size of bearing that has. So that'll take a lot of load and a lot of beating and banging around.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, we're talking about these rear mid-hubs.
Yep.
And we got the rear brakes on these. These are 6-piston calipers here. Now take a look at that. You can see what we have here. Now, GryArea Technologies makes these as well, right?
Yep, and these are the 6-piston. They can go on left and right, so you can bleed them upside down any which way you want.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, you can see right here, folks, you can see he's got the bleed screw right here on the top or on the bottom, depending on which way you want to turn this, but that makes it a lot easier to bleed these brakes. And of course, down here we got the hubs, we got all the hardware, got everything you need on this thing. Hey, you know, something else you need to know about GryArea Technologies, when they build their calipers and all these aluminum parts, it's made out of what, a T60, 61 billet aluminum. So you know it's well made, and they make it all right here in the U.S. Sam is working on servicing this thing. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break.
This week on the Steel Spotlight, I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm actually here in front of a 1976 Ford Bronco, an SUV that looks total stock, but Thomas, you guys at Crawler's Edge have done more to this than meets the eye.
Oh yes, most definitely. We've developed a brand new frame for the 76 Bronco, well actually from 1966 to 77. It's a new tubular chassis. It's 3 inches wider inside to inside of the frame rails, allowing for diesel swaps and 5.0 engine, you know, for Coyote swaps and things of that nature.
You know, one of the things that I noticed about this is, on the outside, it looks old school.
Yes, very much so. But it's got all the creature comforts. Air conditioning, it's got the hidden radio with the iPod hookup, you know, you can play your MP3s and all that sort of stuff, what your modern day cars have.
Okay, and the engine underneath is?
It's a 302 fuel injected engine. Okay. Gives you really good fuel economy, the reliability that you're looking for in an old vehicle, and that way you can cruise around without any worry of breakdowns or anything of that nature. That's what old vehicles do, right?
That's right. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for letting us put this great SUV on our spotlight.
Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, the service in the front end here, checking everything out. And of course, I had the rotor and hub assembly off, clean the wheel bearings and pack them. Now, when you're packing wheel bearings, you know, you don't want to load them up. Don't fill the hub with grease. Just pack them well. Make sure you got plenty of grease on them. But again, not filling the hub. And the main thing is clean. And if you've got a wash tank that you're washing your bearings out in, it's full of sand and grit, don't do that. Wash them in clean solvent. Now, instead of a castellated nut with a cotter pin, what you have here is a nice billet aluminum retaining nut, so you can get an infinite adjustment. You don't want any play. There's a set of flats on it, so you can put a wrench on it, snug it up a little bit. It is a tapered bearing, so you want a tapered bearing, going to have some preload. And then, of course, once you get it adjusted, it's a nice little Allen screw you can tighten up. And what that'll do, that'll lock it in place, and it's positive. Now, this is all GryArea Technologies equipment, and this is a great hub and rotor assembly. Look at this billet aluminum. You know, this is an upright, you know, a vertical spindle. Beautiful piece of equipment. They got this billet upper control arm. The thing is gorgeous. Got nice little billet clips, keeping the braided line to the caliper in line. This caliper is in great shape. It's got a little dust and sand on it. I'm going to take some good brake cleaner, clean it all out. Look at the brake pads. There's no wear on them. And again, when you're doing brakes and bearings, everything you want clean. So I'm going to take some good quality brake cleaner, wash this all down, clean this caliper out. I'll bolt it up. Once it's in place, we'll be in great shape. We can check the rears.
Now, one of the things when you upgrade to the bigger brake system, what you have to do is go to a bigger spindle. Now, this is what we call the 2-inch spindle. This is the combo spindle here. This is a smaller one. This will pop out. This will slide right back in, but this is what they call the combo hollow spindle. As you can see, it's hollow in here and back here. But much bigger, takes bigger bearings, so it'll take a lot more load. And again, you got a nut here that you can tighten down, get your preload on your bearing, and then when you do, then you just tighten this down and it'll stay put.
Now you can get a good look at the business end of this car. It's got a 3.5 liter V6 Honda coil and plug ignition, fuel injected. The transaxle's a Mandola. That's an expensive piece, but it's nice. You know, it's got a radiator, it's all got the cooling system, the fuel tank. It's really nice. Now, if you look at these swing axles, you got a CV joint on them. Now, these CV joints from GryArea Technology, they're 300M steel, it's a strong alloy, micro-polished balls. That way, there's no rough edges, nothing to set up stress risers for cracks and fatigue and failure. All I've done is take this thing apart and look at the hub. You want to make sure it's packed good with CV grease. It's a special grease. And you know, this is nice and dry. What I was looking for was infiltration through a boot of having sand or water get in there. It'll tear your CV joint up. So all I need to do is thread this spline through here, then I can bolt this up, put it back on. Davey, I'm going to need your help here.
Okay, I'm coming in.
There, get my axle through.
All right. Push it through.
Yeah, just got to get it square in the spine. There we go. Now, I'll hold this up and put some bolts in for me.
All right.
You get
Once I
one
get one, then I can swing it around.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
All right, now.
Okay.
All right.
We got two in.
So then what we'll do is we'll thread our CV axle through, we'll put our boot on and clamp it, make sure everything's good. Same thing, clean the caliper, bolt it up. All of this GryArea technology stuff, super billet. It's gonna last forever. A little bit of care, you'll be doing great.
I got the boot on.
Get that clamp on.
There we go, now we got it in there. Get three up tight, you'll see how the rest of them go.
Once you've got this in place, we're probably gonna need to set this down, get the angle up so Dave can get the rest of those bolts in. But you finish it off, both front and rear have got these beautiful billet aluminum covers, and they go on and they are really nice. They're O-ring sealed. They keep out all the water and dirt infiltration. You wanna make sure when you put them on that your O-ring's in place and you don't wanna over tighten them. All right, so what we need to do is we'll put our caliper on, get everything cleaned up with brake clean. Dave's get most of these bolts in, a couple are hard to access, so we'll put the wheel on, set the vehicle down. As the suspension comes up, it'll access the bolts. We'll be in great shape. We've got a lot more coming here at Motorhead Garage, so don't go away. We're gonna take a quick break.
Hey, on this week's Industry Update, we're featuring products from Lifetime LED. And this is what they have, folks. If you drive off-road or you want additional lighting, man, they've got you covered.
And they call it Lifetime LED because these are guaranteed for life again. Bulb burning out, water infiltration, they're super bright. This is a 50-inch. They start off at 7 inches. They got 10s, 20s, 30s, and they got little cube lights. They got all kinds of really neat stuff.
But the neat thing they've really got here is if you want to replace your headlight bulbs with LEDs, they got you covered right over here.
Plug right in, it's plug and play. Got a great set of lights, just super bright down the road without having to do all kinds of crazy conversion or spending a ton of money.
Exactly, and now what we have here, this is of course for the Jeep. They have the brackets, they also have the gaskets that go with it, everything to set you up for going off-road.
And the neat part about these lights is, this is a white LED. You get a complete switch with it. They're also amber for fog. Wonderful lights. Guaranteed for life.
So you can see it puts out a lot of light. If you want to learn a lot more about it, all you have to do is go to their website.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Tribal Whips, the best LED lighted whip on the market today. Quick Cut Sanders, the world's best wet sanding system. Bling Star, accessorizing UTVs and ATVs worldwide. And by Bad Dog Accessories, customized with attitude.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, I'm going to show you something here that you're not going to believe. You know, you got your air conditioning on, you want to keep it cool. This does a pretty good job, but there's a lot of additional heat that's generated by the compressor and the metal, you know, friction inside. Well, we can eliminate a lot of that with this called Powercurve. What this is a metal treatment. All I'm going to do is inject that right into the air conditioning system. How are we looking there, Sammy?
39 degrees, go for it, Davey.
Okay. There we go. Okay. All right, ready?
Yep.
Okay, it's in.
You're down to 36, 35, 34, 33. "32 degrees. We come down from 38, 37, 38 to 32.
Pretty good.
All right, now what Dave did was he put in the Powercurve metal conditioner. You can see it dropped the temperature at the vents because it's a friction reducer, made the compressor more efficient. We got Will Gober here, who's the president of Powercurve. He's got a demonstration. So show us what you got here, buddy.
You bet.
So we're putting some regular motor oil in here.
Straight motor oil.
Okay.
Now both these surfaces here are bearings, just straight bearings.
Okay. That's a good hard metal.
Good hard metal.
Right.
And for every pound of pressure on up here puts 100 pounds down here. Ammeter shows how much power it takes to overcome the friction that's generated.
Okay.
Straight motor oil, about 1,600 pounds, loses all of its viscosity.
All right.
Now what has happened in that short time is we've got a real rough surface here.
Mm-hmm. Galling the metal.
Galled that metal out pretty hard. Now what we've got here, this is our XP12. It's a metal treatment. No solids, no chlorinates, no Teflon. About 160 degrees, the pores in the metal start to open up, and when they do, this penetrates into the metal. It reduces the friction by at least 75%. Now right there, you're looking at 6,500 or 7,500 pounds of pressure.
Ammeter's barely budged.
The ammeter hadn't moved.
That's amazing. So you can see this XP12 metal treatment, metal conditioner, is the basis of all the products they make for diesel, marine, gasoline, and any lubricating fluid that you want to add this to. So this is for diesel fuel conditioner. Does a pretty good job?
Yes, it does an excellent job. Reduces the regen occurrences and keeps the DPFs clean.
Wow.
So it saves a lot of money on regens and fuel.
Really does a great job. Thanks for the demonstration. Thanks for showing us your product. We're out of time. Hope you learned something. We'll see you next time here at Motorhead Garage. So this stuff here is, how much would you add to like a regular crankcase?
8 ounces.
8 ounces.
It's an ounce per quart.